Once again, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our general mathematics class. Today, we'll have lesson 2.2, and this is about rational equations. Now, what do you need to review for this class? First, you need to review how to solve for variables, linear variables, quadratic variables, and so on. So that's the first thing you need to remember. The second is you need to remember how to solve fractions. It's very important in today's class. Let's start by reciting today's memory verse. And it's found in Luke 6, verse 31. It says, "And as you wish that others would do to you, do so to them." This is equivalent to the golden rule. Do unto others what you want others do unto you. And it's one of the key steps in solving for linear or quadratic equations or for solving for variables. Your boosters today is about the least common denominator. The first step in solving rational equations is multiplying all terms by the least common denominator, or we commonly call it the LCD. As God's children, what or who should be our common denominator? Support it with a Bible text. Now, at the end of this class, you'll be able to solve rational equations and solve problems involving rational functions and equations. Today's venture activity is about these rational equations. 1/5 plus x equals 1/2. Let us help Juan and Pedro think of a number. And when you add this number to 1/5, the result will be 1/2. What is the number? Now let's start with our lesson. What's a rational equation again? Yesterday, we talked that a rational equation is an equation that has one or more rational expressions, plus there is an equal sign. Example, the first one, it's a rational expression, it's another rational expression, and with an equal sign, it becomes a rational equation. The second, only one rational equation on the right and one on the left with an equal sign, it's a rational equation. Or another is, there could be a variable, a rational expression, and an integer on one side. It's still called a rational equation. Or one full rational equation on the left and one full rational expression on the right with an equal sign. This is also called a rational equation. Now, how do we solve rational equations? We will use the Cram method. What is the Cram method? C stands for clear. It means that we clear all the equations by multiplying the equation by the LCD terms. Remember, in a rational equation, there are fractions. Example, 1/4 plus 1/3 equals 1/x. So the first step is to clear C, to clear all the fractions. And how do we do that? We multiply it by its LCD, 12x. Here's a technique in multiplying. Okay, here's a technique in multiplying. Oh, congratulations, Jeff. You'll get today's bonus point for the venture with me. The answer is 3/10. Very good. Now, so let's check on it. Ready? So the first thing to, my technique in doing the LCD is to multiply all the denominators. So 4 times 3 times x, that's 12x. So that will be our LCD. Next, R means remove. We remove all grouping symbols. So no more parentheses, no more braces, no more brackets. Next is A. Add or subtract similar terms. And the last is M. It means we multiply or divide both sides by the numerical coefficients, or we simply say we simplify the whole expression. Now, let's start solving, okay? There are some techniques I'll be sharing with you along the way. The first one is x over 5 plus 1 over 4 plus equals x over 2. First is cram, clear. Clear all the fractions by multiplying it with the LCD. I told you a while ago that my technique is I'll multiply all the denominators. So 5 times 4 times 2, the answer is 40. Actually, the LCD of this is only 20. But if you also multiply all by 40, you will still arrive in the same answer in the end. So let's have x over 5. You multiply all parts of the equation by 40. Next, R, remove. Remove all the grouping symbols. So let's simplify. 5 and 40, that's left with 8. 8 times x, 8x. Next, 4 and 40, have 10. Times 1 plus 10 equals 2 and 40, we divide it, we have 20 times x, we have 20x. Next, A, add. So we use the transposition property. We will add -8 to one side and add -8 to the other side. But actually, you can make it a shortcut with this one. So we now have 12x equals 10. M is multiply or divide. So we divide both sides by 12. Our x is 5 over 6. This is now our first answer. Any questions?
None, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to the second one. Next. Now, here's the second technique that I'll be sharing with you. If there's only one rational expression on the right and one rational expression on the left, oh, that's your right, sorry, the left and the right, you can simply do cross multiplication to clear and to remove. So example, like this one, we have 4 times x plus 5. We cross multiply. On the other side, that's 2x times 3. Then we remove the groupings. We have 4x, 4 times 5 is 20. The other side is 6x. We combine like terms. We do transposition. We have 6x minus 4x equals 20. So moving on the right-hand side, 6x minus 4x is 2x equals 20. We divide both sides by 2. So our x is equal to 10. The next one. Ready? Let's go to the third example. Still, we have one rational expression on the right and one rational expression on your right, the left first. So let's do cross multiplication. That will be x plus 3 times x minus 2 equals 5 times this 2, x minus 2. Let us simplify it. Remove the groupings. X times x, x squared. X times negative 2, negative 2x. 3 times x, that's 3x. 3 times negative 2, you have negative 6. On the right-hand side, 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. So, wait for a while. Let us now simplify it. We have x squared plus x, combine these two, minus 6 equals 5x minus 10. Then we will write it in standard form. Go back to your grade 9 lesson in quadratic equation. X squared plus x minus 6, transfer, minus 5x, and the other one also, plus 10 equals 0. So you have x squared, combine these two, minus 4x, then combine these two also, plus 4 equals 0. In your grade 9 lesson in quadratic, this can be factored as x minus 2 times x minus 2 equals 0. So let's solve for the value of x. X minus 2 equals 0. X is equal to the other side, 2. That's the answer. So x is equal to 2. But you need to check your answer, because remember, in the rational equations, our denominator should never be equal to 0. If you check your denominator, x minus 2 should never be equal to 0. So x should never be equal to 2. However, our answer is x is equal to 2. So what will happen? Then we say that this has no solution. What do you mean by no solution? There is no answer, or there's no number that will make the equation correct. So the solution does not exist. Any questions? No. Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. Now, what do we call a solution that we have found it upon solving, but it's not a part of the problem? It will not make the equation correct. Now we call it extraneous solution. The root word is extra. An extraneous solution, it's a solution that you got after solving the equation, but it will not make the equation correct. Like what we had a while ago. We have solved for 2 in the equation, but when we substituted it, it will not make the solution or the equation correct. So we call it an extraneous solution. Now, let's solve more problems. Ready? Now, there's only one rational expression on the left and one on the right. So we can cross multiply. So we have x plus 2 times x plus 2. And the right-hand side is x plus 4 times x minus 2. Let us simplify it. On the left-hand side, we have x squared plus 2x plus 2x plus 4. On the right-hand side, we have x squared minus 2x plus 4x minus 8. Let's simplify it. We have x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals x squared plus 2x minus 8. Now let's combine them in standard form. We have x squared, other side, minus x squared plus 4x minus 2x plus 4 plus 8 equals 0. So this is now 0. We have 2x plus 12 equals 0. Let's transfer the constant term to the other side. 2x equals negative 12. Divide all by 2. So our x is negative 6. Let's check if it's an extra. Here, x should never be equal to negative 4. The other side, x should never be equal to negative 2. And our answer is negative 6. So it's a correct answer. Now the next one. Here, 1 over x squared plus x plus 1 equals 4 over x squared plus x. Now, what is the LCD? You check first the denominators. You have this one and this. They're just the same, right? So the denominator of this is 1. So our LCD is x squared plus x. It means that we multiply x squared plus x to all parts of the equation. So we have the first one. Multiply it by x squared plus x. The second one, multiply it by x squared plus x equals the last expression. Multiply it by x squared plus x. Numerator and denominator are the same. We cancel it. Same with this one, the last one. So let's now simplify. In the first part, we only have 1. The next, we have 1 times x squared. That's x squared. 1 times x, you have x, equals 4. Now let's write it in standard form. We have x squared plus x plus 1, do transposition, minus 4 equals 0. Then we have x squared plus x minus 3 equals 0. Remember in your grade 9 class, when we solve quadratic equations, we need to do factoring. Or you could also use the quadratic formula. Negative b plus and minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So factoring this, we have x plus 3 times, oh, sorry. That can't be. Let's use the quadratic formula. Our A is 1. Our B is 1. Our C is -3. Let's use this formula. So we have -1 plus and minus 1 squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So we have -1 plus and minus 1 plus 12 over 2. So our final answer will be -1 plus and minus square root of 13 over 2. This is now the answer. Do you have any questions? Now let's go to some word problems, okay? Now we'll have 2 word problems for this type for the rational equations. Let's have the number problem, and also I'll have 1 problem for the work problem. The first one is a number problem, and here's the problem. 1/6 of a number is less than 1/2 of the same number. What is